I was 8 years old with my family at the first King Bowl game in 1977, watching my older brother play. When that G-Prep team lost, I remember thinking, someday I'd play for the Bullpups and we'd win the state championship for my brother and his teammates. Tom Corbett, running back. For the Gonzaga Prep Bullpups, 1986 was more than a successful football season. It was the culmination of years of determination, sacrifice, born as early, for some, in elementary school. It was also a group of young men inspired by the 1982 state championship Bullpups and determined to win, not just for themselves, but for the Bullpup teams before them who never made it to the championship stage. Having played in the state championship game in 1985, a 13-28 defeat to Juanita High School, and returning half of its starters from the previous season, the Bullpups started the 1986 season as a consensus #1 ranked team in the state. They knew they had targets on their chests, but no one's expectations were higher than their own. Middle linebacker Nate Stylen remembers, "We didn't want to let our teammates down. We knew if we did our jobs, we would win, and we looked up so much to the teams before us." Quarterback Ron Hawkins agreed. "The '84 team inspired me because they were the most talented team I'd ever saw. We wanted to win for them and '85 as much as we did ourselves." And when they did, led by Gonzaga Prep and Washington State Hall of Fame coach Don Anderson and his assistants Bob Peterson, Clarence Huff, and H.T. Higgins, the Bullpups dominated on both sides of the ball. They averaged nearly 37 points per game while allowing their opponents less than a touchdown per game. Their defensive unit, led by defensive end and team co-captain John Cowan, linebackers Tom McKernan and Nate Stylen, and nose guard Steve Nichols. Outstanding kicker Thane Doyle led the special teams unit. And the offense? Following a powerful offensive line, quarterback Ron Hawkins orchestrated G-Prep's patented wishbone with surgical precision, alongside halfbacks Tom Corbett and Todd McGann, the powerful running of fullback Matt Miller, and the elusiveness of wide receiver Rob Bonneau, the only two-way player on the squad. The team started the season strong, with high-scoring shutouts of University and Central Valley, setting the table for an early season face-off with Meade, which had also shut out its first two opponents and had played a tight game with Prep in the 1985 season. Over 10,000 people attended the Friday night cap in anticipation of a classic Greater Spokane League matchup. But the Bullpups made a statement, leading by 35 at halftime on its way to a 45-0 rout of the Panthers. G-Prep continued its strong play in the Greater Spokane League, winning every game and shutting out 5 opponents, including perennial rival Lewis and Clark. Prep moved on to the playoffs, hosting Pasco, led by future NFL linebacker Anthony Davis. The Pups left no doubt they intended to make it back to the King Bowl with a 44-0 trouncing of the Bulldogs. Next loomed the second-ranked and undefeated Kennewick Lions, still bitter from a 41-0 loss to the Bullpups in the snow at Lions Stadium in the 1985 playoffs. The entire Gonzaga Prep community and most of the population of Kennewick descended on Albee Stadium to watch what is still considered one of the greatest high school football games ever played in the state of Washington.
A big game like this, however, is what an athlete wants to put himself in. This is what they work all year for. And the only pressure that will be on them is a pressure that they put upon themselves.
A defensive battle lit up the night with bone-jarring hits from both teams. Kennewick brought 2 1,000-yard rushers to the game who left Spokane with less than 70 yards gained between them. G-Prep's usually potent offense also struggled against the rugged Kennewick defense. At the end of regulation, the score stood tied at 14, and the Bullpups' dream of winning the state championship hung in the balance. The historic game went 2 overtimes, with the fans witnessing the sheer grit and determination of a team refusing to lose. Quarterback Ron Hawkins ended the game in spectacular fashion, keeping the ball on a quarterback option and crossing the goal line to pandemonium in the stands. "We knew this was a defining moment," Hawkins later reflected. "We also knew it wasn't the end. The mission wasn't complete." Next, the Bullpups took on Kelso, where the Pups' vaunted defense would not budge an inch. The offense got rolling in the second half, and the Bullpups capped their final game at Albee Stadium with a 35-0 win, sending them to their second consecutive King Bowl. As luck would have it, the 2-time defending state champion Juanita Rebels from Kirkland, Washington, upset their opponent in the other semifinal, setting up a rematch of the 1985 King Bowl. Coach Anderson and his Bullpups knew legendary coach Chuck Tarbox and the Rebels would be ready to play. December 6, 1986, King Bowl 10.
Hawkins, pitch back. This is Corbett. Gets a block at the 30. Cuts back. 25, 20. He may go. Tom Corbett. Touchdown. Gonzaga Prep. A 30-yard touchdown run. Gonzaga Prep on the board first. They lead it 6-0. And Thane Doyle, the senior place kicker, on to attempt the extra point.
And although Juanita managed to tie the game, the Pups were unyielding. Its defense rocked Juanita's offense early and often, owning the line of scrimmage and harassing their quarterback all night, forcing 2 interceptions.
Throwing over the middle. Intercepted Gonzaga Prep. That is Pete Simpson, the free safety.
Prep's wishbone offense controlled the clock, wearing down Juanita's defense. The Bullpups blocked a field goal attempt in the first quarter and then capped off a long drive in the second quarter with a 30-yard touchdown run around the right by running back Tom Corbett. Juanita evened it before halftime on a long pass on a broken play to its star running back Clayton Harley, but Prep came out firing in the second half.
Backer with the play. 2nd and 9 for the 46. Other way they go, and this will go all the way perhaps. Intercepted. Breaking the tackle is Matt Murphy.
The defense, anchored by Matt Murphy's game-changing interception in the third quarter, set the stage for Ron Hawkins to redeem himself after an earlier fumble. With just over 7 minutes left,
Hawkins, he'll keep it. He sneaks and he's in.
Hawkins delivered the decisive 1-yard keeper, sealing the Bullpups' victory and dethroning the 2-time defending champions. Coach Anderson, hoisted on the shoulders of his players, summed it up best. Patience and discipline won it for us. These kids showed what true character looks like. This team didn't just lift a trophy, they lifted an entire community.
And hello, state championship.
The 1986 Bullpups finished their undefeated state championship season as the wire-to-wire #1 ranked team in the state of Washington and finished #7 in the final USA Today National High School Football Top 25 rankings. They had 7 shutouts in 12 games, a number that has not been matched by any Gonzaga Prep team since. 10 starters were named First Team All Greater Spokane League. Ron Hawkins and Tom McKernan were named to the All-State team, with Hawkins being named the Offensive Back of the Year in the state of Washington. Coach Anderson was named Greater Spokane League Coach of the Year. More than 15 players went on to play in college, but if you ask any of them what football experience they most remember, it will be the unmatched championship season that they shared with their lifelong friends and teammates at Gonzaga Prep. We weren't a bunch of blue chippers. We were a group of guys who complimented each other, Nate Styling recalls. We were really like a family, so when we drove up to the Kingdome that day, it didn't matter who we were playing. We were ready to go. Looking back, it would be hard to replicate the chemistry we had. The impact of the 1986 Bullpups extends far beyond the scoreboard. They were more than champions. They became leaders, role models, and exemplars of Gonzaga Prep's values, faith, humility, and the pursuit of the Magus, or something greater. Decades later, quarterback Ron Hawkins thinks he knows the secret to their success. The biggest lesson I learned from that team is that you surround yourself with great people who work together, you can do amazing things. We won that championship in the off-season. The day after we lost the '85 King Bowl, we were getting ready for next year. Most importantly, they won as a team by relying on their friendship and faith in each other, playing with inspired passion and execution at every position in all 3 phases of the game. Their brotherhood was and will always be special, reflecting all the best of Gonzaga Prep. Chris Standifer, now Gonzaga University's athletic director, credits a special quality of his teammates as the key to their victorious season. It was an outcome of leadership. We had great leaders on that team who had a profound impact on my life and how I lead today. We appreciated each other and held each other accountable. Being at Prep meant we were all part of something bigger. Many have gone on to successful careers, becoming leaders of their organizations. They embody the lessons of teamwork and perseverance they learned as Bullpups. And they've passed those values on to the next generation, proving that their greatest victories were not just on the field, but in the lives they touched and also how they played the game. Tom McKernan sums it up well. We hit hard and hit clean, and we always played with class, never showboating or gloating. Mostly, we played for each other and all those who came before us. That's what it meant to play like a bullpup. Gentlemen, you are more than champions, you are legends. It is my honor to welcome the 1986 Gonzaga Prep State Championship football team to the Gonzaga Prep Hall of Fame. Your legacy will live on. Congratulations.